I see you. Your eyes. Your hands. Your chips. Everything. So I don't need to see your cards. We play at fulltailpoker.com.
I'm Diego Cordovez.
And I'm Adam Schoenfeld.
Welcome to The Scoop.
Scoop!
Brought to you by Full Tilt Poker.
Full tilt. Yes, don't touch me.
Today we have a very interesting guest, David Chicotsky, and he's known online by various names, including the Yid,
The Maven.
and the Maven, and he's been ultra successful playing tournaments online.
He's prolific and a big winner.
And been an online player of the year. But in addition to that, he's now become an entrepreneur, training people systematically, and we're going to talk about that as well. Should be very interesting. So you were online player of the year just recently, and you played an enormous number of tournaments. What fascinates me is how people talk about internet time. In internet poker time, things seem to be evolving so quickly as far as new strategies, new approaches. I mean, how fast do you need to evolve your game in order to keep ahead of the curve?
Just every day, keep working on it. I mean, what we're doing now compared to a year or two ago is just totally different. And, we're always keeping our eye on the best players and seeing what they're doing, what they're not doing, and just trying to emulate that. One thing nice about what we have now is we have 60 students, so we have kind of a feedback mechanism where, some of the most advanced students will go home and say, oh, look at these all-in river bluffs, and
right.
When the pot's 1-to-1 ratio, 1.5-to-1 ratio, or whatever it is, you can do it, and 2/3 of the time they fold or something of that nature. And yeah, we're just always trying to implement these advanced moves. But in 2005, you could just raise Queen Jack under the gun. Arya was saying that he had never folded deuces under the gun once in his life until last year. Literally.
Some people say that about kings. They've never folded it.
About deuces.
I have.
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to talk about how you've expanded to a formal training center and training courses, but in general terms, what are some things that, let's say, even just 6 months or 12 months ago, have evolved to where people need to make adjustments or they're going to get caught behind?
Well, everyone's more aggressive these days, so you have to know how to 4-bet as a defense against opening light. And, online these days, they have all these tracking software programs. So if you're not using those, you're at an extreme disadvantage to the field. And people always say, well, how do you know if they're using the tracking software? I go, when you look them up and they're up 30,000 or more, they're probably using the software. So that's one little tidbit. But, a lot of the things, just the kind of rounding over the edges, just the esoteric art of paying attention and taking good notes and keeping track of who wins the big pots, who loses the big pots. Just kind of having a good feel for the table, have your finger on the pulse of what's going on. Sometimes that makes all the difference. You can make a play or not make a play that could make or break your week or your month. I mean, that's what's so funny about poker. You have one big score that month and it's your best month ever, or that score doesn't come and, oh, I'm down 10K this month. So, you have to do the best you can every time and try to use all these advanced strategies along the way.
One of the things that I find impressive is that you play this incredible volume, but you emphasize to your students focus and concentration. What are some of the leaks that someone can get caught up in that takes away from their ability to focus and concentrate, whether it's one table or 20 tables?
Well, the biggest one, most obvious one is TV leak. They're watching TV. I mean, I know because I used to do this. I used to go to Blockbuster and rent 10 movies, and for 15 hours straight, just watch the movies and click and play like a robot. But that was mostly in sit-and-goes and cash games. Especially in tournaments, you have to pay really close attention, all the little nuances. You get lobby leaks, where they're always checking the lobby to see how many people are left, how much it pays. They're putting themselves on tilt.
Right.
I like to say, like, you know, it's important to know where the bubble is in the final table bubble, but in general, you know where the bubble is. The
Right.
blinds are 800, 1600. It's not the beginning of the tournament anymore. We know we're getting close there.
It's funny because that's huge. I mean, I didn't even think of it as a leak, but because of my ADD or other reasons, I just obsessively want all data
At all times.
Right. So I like to stare at the lobby and see who's getting busted, but I really do think that that could be a problem.
Well, I always jump on this also, which is people get obsessed with what's the average chip count, even though it's pretty much irrelevant. Where do I stand, which can be relevant, but only in certain periods of the tournament. And all you need to know really is what's my chip stack relative to the big blinds, what are other people's effective stacks.
Right.
Those are the most important things traditionally.
Yeah.
But maybe it's just a habit. You just need that reinforcement. You need to feel like there's something going on beside your table, and people are obsessively checking that. That's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And then not taking proper notes. I actually trained with the guy Darren Elias, who won an F-Tops this year, and I watched him. He was training one of my students, and I was the whole time getting some free training by watching as well. And man, I mean, when it showed down, he just took a note. He'd have 17 notes on one guy.
Right.
He'd be scrolling down, and there's a lot of leaks just in the not paying attention department.
So you've been able to discipline yourself not to watch TV, not to.
We don't have a
surf
TV
on
in the
web,
house.
Nothing.
There's no TV in the house. There's no web surfing when I play. There's no forum reading. There's no email checking. It's just
Telephone.
no telephone. I mean, the way we operate is when we're playing, we're playing. Otherwise, I mean, I tell my students, if you want to watch TV, play one day and then take an entire day off and just sit on your butt and watch TV all day long.
Right.
But just don't do them at the same time.
Or take a break.
This was all important for me to hear. Now, you know my biggest leak. And you know what it is, right? The web surfing leak.
Yes.
And I'm playing on a
Information
laptop.
leak.
So that, you know, again, it's because of ADD, so maybe I should just get on Adderall or something. But even no matter how many tables I'm playing, I still need something else to occupy my mind in the slack spots. But that's definitely, that hurts my results. Now, something that you guys didn't emphasize, but you know that this is an important metric that you guys didn't talk about. It's the Red Pro standings. You know, the most important thing is your average chip stack and if you're the final Red Pro remaining.
That's more of an inside joke, but when Adam is playing in multi-table tournaments, he plays a lot more of them than I do, but when he plays, I'll ask him, okay, what's your standing? Where, you know, give me a status update. And Adam might be 412th out of 514, but he'll be like, there were 2 other Red Pros, they're both out.
I saw them off.
I got the field crushed.
I finished top Red Pro, even if I don't cash.
Yeah.
Or he'll be like, yeah, I'm you know, below the median, but I'm first among the Red Pros.
So that's not really the most important.
Not that there's any extra bonus, but just like
Yeah, I mean, to do a little bit of butt kissing, I really feel like at this point, Full Tilt's like my home site. As the Yid, I've just crushed it last year, and just things seem to go my way on that site, and I feel real comfortable there. I have most of my notes on there, and to the detriment of the other sites, I'll have my Full Tilt right in the middle, all the other ones in the peripheral.
Just on a tangential point, as I was doing my research, your name on some of the sites is the Yid. Have you ever gotten any feedback or any negative feedback?
Blowback?
On that?
Yeah, I have. I mean, someone will say...
I was the original the Yid, but then I got so much heat over it.
Yeah, well, it's funny because my uncle was always saying, well, this Yid came over and we had dinner, and that Yid this, that. I didn't realize it was kind of a derogatory term.
See, growing up in New York, I don't think of it as a derogatory term because it's very standard, but some people, I'm sure, react to it like, wow, this guy's name is the Yid.
Yeah, I mean, here and there, but
no
nothing too bad. I've got pretty thick skin at this point, and, you know, sticks and stones. I'm just not worried about it.
But other Jews don't sometimes take offense to that?
No.
Yeah, I don't,
Okay.
by the way. I think it's hilarious. I told you I think it's the greatest screen name ever. I wish I had that as a screen name.
You've referenced training students, so just exploring that some more, you've actually created a business where students come in for a series of sessions. Why don't you elaborate on all that? Because it is interesting, the fact that in the last couple of years, antithetical to the old poker ethic, which was not to share any information, not to show your whole cards in front of the cameras, Eric Seidel style. Now we have forums that are very open and training sites. You've taken a step further to actual hands-on training.
Well, I was teaching cash games before I taught tournaments. I was living in Fort Worth, driving to Dallas and training people in Dallas. So basically, what really got me started was just the idea that I can make a fixed income or side income on top of playing. And yeah, so right now basically I have a high-tech, state-of-the-art facility where basically throughout the entire house, when I play, all these different monitors will display my whole cards throughout the house. When I talk, it talks into a microphone, also broadcasts it around the house. And what's great is not only can I teach, but Ari can teach, Daisy can teach. We can bring in the best pros in the world, and they can teach as well.
Ari is a Bodog Ari who plays a lot of tournaments.
I don't think Bodog's paying his bills anymore, so now I think he's just Ari. But
we may have to do something. Just Ari.
We'll get him sponsored somewhere else, and we'll call him some other Ari.
But for people who follow the online and play a lot of online under the Bodog Ari name, he won a lot of tournaments.
Oh yeah, crushed for years.
Crushed for years, cash games and tournaments. He bought his house with cash. I think he's up $650,000 profit on stars alone.
And you are business partners in this venture.
Yes, we are. And so basically, I'll train someone, and then I'll shuffle them over to Ari. What I do now is I do public group lessons. I'll do 5 or 6 at a time. And while I'm teaching, I'll have 5 guys in my room. I'll send 1 at a time per hour over into his room to watch him. They'll get private lessons with him. If they like him as a tester, then they'll spend more time with him in the future.
Right.
But he's more of the mentor. He does a lot of, after we're done playing, he'll talk with the students and answer all the questions, goes over hand histories, and he's just a great poker mind. He's such a ringer. He's got so much experience that, it's great for me. Even most people don't have someone they can get an actual answer out of, where I can say, hey, Ari, look at this hand history. What do you think? And he goes, I think you screwed up pretty cute.
But your teaching method primarily is you're playing and people are, in a sense, looking over your shoulder, but you're also providing commentary and analysis as you
Definitely. I'm actually kind of hoarse. I've lost my voice. But the first day I'll spend 8 to 10 hours just breaking down the system from top to bottom. And, a lot of people get rubbed the wrong way when I say system, but all it really is a methodology. Instead of calling like the old school players used to do, we re-raise. Instead of just folding here, we might 4-bet light, or here's
based on situations.
Everything's situational, and that's the thing. We want to take the optimal line on every single play, and that's our main goal, just to take each situation into account. And in 2005, you could just play your cards, you could just play position. These days, all the guys that come to me, they're all playing their cards. They're all playing position. You don't get enough good cards. You don't get enough positional situations. So right now we're looking more at spots. How many chips? What's your chip stack? What's their chip stack? What's your table image? What's their table image? How long till the blinds go up? What's your effective stack? And have you made this move before against them and things of that nature? And you just try to take the entire spot into account. The hand is just part of the spot.
Right.
Sorry, I was going to say. The age-old question that goes back to Doyle, Brunson, and Super System is that if you tell everyone your system or your methodology, now a lot of people start playing that way and it becomes much less effective. Your edge is reduced. Is that something you're concerned about?
Yes and no. I mean, my edge playing-wise has been reduced. You go on the forums and people know that I make moves, and I always tell my students, this move will work better for you than for me.
Right.
They know the id. They don't know you. So it's a little bit of a negative on that side of it. On the positive end of it, my business model going forward is to produce enough really good students to where my students will actually be training people in the future. You'll take my online virtual course, you'll learn my system, and then if you want to train going forward, you can train with myself, with Ari, my best students like Daisy or Sabaim, someone of that nature.
I mean, the danger is not only people knowing how to play against you. I mean, in Doyle Brunson's day, that was a real problem because there weren't that many games, so the number of competitors were right at his table a lot of times. But it's the fact that as you teach people and they teach other people, eventually you've got to come up with something new.
Yeah, I have to have people test my food in case I'm getting poisoned.
But you've got to go with something new because so many people are playing in a better way that the edges are just smaller in general.
It's a little bit of a scary deal. All of that said, I have a lot of tricks up my sleeve trying to expand the poker economy. I'm going to Macau. I'm going to these markets like Brazil, Costa Rica, et cetera, where they don't really even know how to play Texas Hold'em. It's not a major game, not a staple, and I want to have, for $5, here's a 2-hour introduction to how to play no limit Texas Hold'em. So I'm teaching a lot of advanced methods to a lot of students that are intermediate or break even right now. But going forward, I still want to do things of that nature and kind of broaden the poker economy.
Thanks for joining us on The Scoop, brought to you by Full Tilt Poker. And it's been very interesting talking to David, so we're going to bring him back for part 2.
He's an interesting guy. He's also a Jew, and I let all Jews have 2 parts.
Right, that's automatic.
Right.
So join us next week on cardplayer.com, and see you there.
I've seen just about everything. Seen queens overthrow kings, and straights flushed away. I felt the sweat after every re-raise, and nearly buckled after bad beats. Seen rags lead to riches, and witnessed countless miracles on the river. So if you want to play, take a seat and show me something I haven't seen. We play at FullTiltPoker.com.